Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tori podcast. I believe this is episode 66. Don't quote me on that. It's obviously on the thumbnail in the description that you clicked. So it'll be there, but I don't know offhand. It is Saturday, June 17th. It is a lovely, sunny summer day in the nice small town of Milton, Wisconsin, which is just, I don't know, half an hour south of Madison-ish for reference where we are. But yeah, we have just been living it up here. Before I jump into what I have to share with you today, which I've got just like piled everywhere, you can find me on a few places online. You can find me on Instagram as Tori Schaffner. You can find me on the blog at woolymastodon.wordpress.com. That's just show notes. You can find me here on YouTube, obviously. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie, Lilwestie. I post all of my projects there. And then I'm on Facebook. I'm just not as active there. I hear some girls stirring. I have the cats in the room with me, although midnight maybe wandered off. Lady is sitting in the chair back here with me. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into the episode today. I do have a couple finished objects, two of which I don't have in hand, and I will have to insert pictures here when I share them because I gave them away already. So we might as well start with those. So the first one that I completed is I knit another flax for a baby. That I did what size did I do? 6 to 9 month-ish size. And I will insert a picture of it here. I just did it in like a heathered gray. I'm looking at my iPad to check my notes. Flax is a free tin can knits pattern. I knit it out of Baby's Bee Sweet Delight in color Teddy. And I used US 4 3.5 millimeter and US 6 4 millimeter needles. I think it turned out really cute, and the recipient really loved it. So that was gift number one. My coworker had a baby, so I made her a couple things. And then the other thing that I made her was Sparkles the Unicorn Softie. That's a free pattern by Brenda KB Anderson. It's crocheted pattern. I don't remember what hook size I used on it, to be honest, but it was a lot of fun to make. This guy ended up being like this tall, really tall, including his horn. I'll insert a photo here. But it was a big boy, and it took me a long time to make just because I would finish one entire step and then I'd put it off. So like I finished making all of the body parts and then I let it sit for a month or two. And then I assembled it and then I let it sit for a little while because I needed to embroider the eyes on it. And so then I did that and finally I gave it to her. I gave it to my coworker about a week before she had her baby, and she loved it so much. She was telling all of my other coworkers about it, and then in her newborn photos, she used it as the prop. My heart just like burst when I saw that photo. But yeah, so she obviously really liked it because she used it in her newborn photos and was telling everyone about it. And I hadn't even really said anything to anybody. They knew I was making or something, but I didn't really tell them what I was making. And like, people were like, yeah, she sent me the photo of that unicorn. It's so cute. So she really liked it, which made me happy because it was a lot of fun to make. So I did make one modification to this. The original pattern has this weird lip that goes on the bottom of the snout. And if you'll see in the photos that I've inserted, I didn't include that because I thought it looked weird. So I didn't do that. I did my own thing. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you don't want to look at the unicorn from the front because I think I embroidered the nostrils not exactly straight. That's fine. I'll include some photos of that. So then the next thing I finished was, sorry, I'm itching my nose. It's allergy season. And then with the wildfires, we keep getting air quality alerts, and I mowed the lawn yesterday, and I'm just all of the allergies right now. My eyes are watering, my nose is itching. It's great. The other thing I finished is a little bit bigger, but I finished a blanket. I was calling this my sunset gartergan. So this is essentially to mimic the colors of the sunset. So it goes from this dark red to a bright red to an orange to a pink to a mustard. And then we get into the blues, which I don't even know. It's kind of hard to see the different shades of blue. And we keep going, and we keep going, and it goes to here. I don't know, can I even get back far enough? Sorry, lady, in my studio to like show this ish. Not really, but you get the idea. Let's bring the chair back. Get everything resettled. But anyway, you get the idea. So I knit that out of Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. And it's a really soft acrylic. It washes well. I still need to weave in the ends. But otherwise then it'll be done. I used 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 colors. And then I striped in between each color except for where like the water would meet the sky. I didn't stripe on the right side. And then I like increased the striping as you go out further, and that was just, I kind of winged it and it worked out perfectly because I didn't intentionally do that when I did the initial stripes, but I did just enough to kind of shade it. So I think it'll be cute. So I finished that. That was a really big project to finish because obviously that is a huge blanket. It's, I don't know, I made it to ensure that like a 6-foot tall person could easily lay under it with someone else. So it's just supposed to be like a throw blanket for a couch, but it's huge. Yeah, so those are the things I finished. I don't think I finished anything else. Let me check. No, I did not. So then we can move on to works in progress. I think I mentioned this before, but I ripped out the Cable Crush joggers. I haven't picked those back up yet. I'm working on a pair of toe-up socks. Those are in my purse. Nothing really to write home about right now, but I have been working on them here and there because I have a purse now that fits. It's a backpack and it easily fits my knitting in it, so I can bring my knitting everywhere. And it fits my bullet journal, which is great. So really liking that. But the most active work in progress would be what I've got in this little basket here. This is actually one of my mom's little baskets, and it's perfect for the sweater right now, although as you can see it's kind of bursting at the seams now, so I don't know if the sweater will continue to fit. But I am knitting the Circe by, who is this? Mary Emily Designs. Here, see if I can find a picture to share off of Ravelry. I don't know if you'll be able to see that without a glare. There's a glare there, but you can kind of get the gist. Do they have a close-up of the lace? Yeah, there you go. But it's a fingering weight sweater pattern, and I'm actually knitting it out of some yarn that my coworker gifted me because she doesn't use the thinner yarn, and so this is a fingering weight-ish. This is Red Heart Luster Sheen in color Bluette, 425 Bluette, and I got a whole bunch of this, enough to knit a sweater. It's this beautiful periwinkle color. From the research that I've done, this doesn't depending on the age of this, the gauge changes drastically. So I couldn't even tell you what it's supposed to be, but I would say this one comes out close to like a fingering or sport weight, but it's Red Heart Luster Sheen. Look at that. Look at that vintage label. Something fell down. Coates and Clark. But yeah, I am knitting the Thursday, and I am knitting this on, I just lost some stitches. So while I talk about this, I will put them back on. I am knitting this on a US 1 and a US 0. My gauge is that loose that I am knitting a sweater on, at this point, toothpicks. Let me see if I have it. US 1, which is 2.25 millimeters, and a US 0, which is 2 millimeters. Oh, and for reference, I knit socks on a US 1, and I probably should go down a needle. Normally for sweaters, I knit it on a 3, so I am knitting this entire sweater on the tiniest needles. But as you can see, I have gotten, let's be careful down here because I don't want to lose my stitches. I've gotten decent ways. I've knit the top, I've got the armhole, and now I am knitting the body. And the body has the lace panel down the side. So let's see if I can show this. These needles are short. My US 1s I bought with sock knitting in mind, so they're pretty short. So at first I thought this wouldn't fit, but I tried it on and it'll be just fine. It's just scrunched up. But this is the side lace panel. And this goes down both arms, down the side, and then it'll go down the sleeve as well. Really cute. So I am knitting this. I do have a little stitch marker on here, or a progress keeper from the Sweet Sparrow Knits advent calendar from last year. Unfortunately, I will not be getting an advent calendar this year, but I can enjoy the spoils of war from the last 2 years. So I have got that on there. And then actually, this leads into, that's pretty much the one work in progress I have going that's knitting related that I can show. Everything else is either in the works or being planned. But I did want to show is I had been wanting to get, they make those, I think they're like the brand name, one of them is like the Knitting Barber cord. And I was trying to find them online and I just wasn't finding what I wanted. And I went on Amazon randomly just to search for something, and I found out that you can buy a spool of the rubber tubing for beading. It's like $10. So I did that. I bought, it's like a 1 millimeter rubber tubing for beading. And all you do is you cut it into the lengths that you want, and it works just the same. The concept is you can pop your stitches, like the cord, over the edge of your needle and then pull this through and try it on, or just hold stitches and you don't have to worry about it. So I bought an entire spool. I've already tried it. So this is one. The nice thing about this method is if you do this, you can cut them to like custom sizes for you, which I know that they have really long sizes and smaller sizes, but I cut a really, really, really long size to make sure that if I tried on a sweater, it would fit. So I have a really, really, really long cord here. I would say I haven't done a lot of research into what options the Knitting Barber cords come in, but if you're a plus size, it might be to your benefit to do this if you're trying on sweaters, just to make sure that it fits you. So the cord goes all the way around. And then I just, off Amazon, I got some of these cute little tins to store it in. I've only got one length in here, but I could put more. And my intention is to cut a bunch of lengths, that same length, and then do variations, sorry. And then I just got like an assortment of tins off Amazon. I got 5 of them. And all you do is you can pop it open, throw it in, and then I've got tons and tons. I don't remember how many yards of this, this is, but it's an entire spool of this cord. So I've been keeping this with the sweater. I immediately tried on the sweater after this arrived the other week, and it works perfectly. So put that back in here. So I can go with the notions in here. I've been stashing my yarn, my extra yarn in a bag when I bring it to work, because I literally have bringing it to work in here. Which, you know, some people are like, Little Red Riding Hood, or what are you doing? And I'm just like, I don't know. I keep my projects in baskets anyway, so why keep taking it out? But yeah, this is pretty much my only work in progress. So now we can move on to other things. Take a sip. These Iron Flask water bottles off of Amazon. I have 2 of these. I love them so much. They're huge. Like, I have other sizes from other brands, but I don't have to refill this as often. Highly recommend. But anyway, we can go on to, let's go on to my other work in progress that's kind of in progress, and we'll get to this in a minute. We'll get to these baskets of yarn in a minute. Oh, it's getting stuck. So, I have wanted to get a weaving loom for a while, and I don't want like a fancy one because I want this to be for like wall hangings and to dip my toes back into it, because I have, technically, if you guys remember, I have one that's like a flat leaving loom. Is it loom? I don't remember what brand it is, but I need to get it out. It's in the closet. But that would be more for like cloth weaving, because it's a small flat loom. It's not like a big actual floor loom, but you could actually weave some distance on here. This is for tapestries. This used to be, this is repurposed wood. As you can see, I haven't gotten very far, but I just built a basic frame, popped in a bunch of nails, and then I already had these, again, from when I was on the board at the Community Arts Center, and they did a Fiberama sale every year. They'd get like donated material and they'd sell it to benefit the Arts Center, and I got a bunch of stuff there. So I got this. I actually got that loom there. I got an Inkle loom there. I got a warping board there. I got a lot of good stuff there. But this used to be a frame for a massive painting that I did in college. I did this huge painting in college, and I didn't really want to get rid of it because it's like the biggest thing I've ever done. And I was like, there are a lot of things I would change about it. I wouldn't say it's good, but I like the concept of it. And at first I was like, I'm going to hang it up. Well, there's nowhere to hang up a 4.5 foot by 4.5 foot painting in our house that I'm not like completely in love with. So I decided to instead take it apart, take the canvas off the frame. And what did I do here? I missed it. I decided to take the canvas off the frame and then roll that up to save the canvas, and then I'm repurposing the wood. So the wood is beveled on the back. I don't know if you can see this. It's a canvas that I stretched. I built the frame and I stretched the canvas in college. So like this was meant to be a frame. So it's a little wonky, but I decided to keep a decently large size because, as you can see, I'm not even using the full size, and I can make it smaller if I want to. And I've got a weaving frame now. So there's a ton of nails popped into the top here, so you know, be careful when you're around it. But yeah, I started a little weaving, and I've had cones of wool forever, again from that Fiberama sale, and I've just been using it to like play around. So I don't know what this will become. Obviously I worked it so it could be huge if I wanted to, and we'll see. But yeah, I did that one day, and then I just had it out and kind of been working on it. I also put some yellow on another, I don't remember what these are called. I'm pathetic, but I've been using them as a shuttle essentially. But I'm putting some more on one of these, and yeah, I've been working on that on and off. I haven't gotten a lot done because I haven't been sitting with it. But that is another yarn related thing. So we can move on to upcoming cast-ons. This summer, Justin and I have got a bigger trip planned, and we're both excited about going. And what I decided is when we go on this vacation, I want to bring a project that I can cast on maybe right before we go, and then work on while we're on the trip. And then hopefully I can scope out a yarn shop and buy like a single skein of sock yarn to add to it to make it like, you know, this vacation project. And I've been thinking about this forever. Like pretty much since this trip has been in in the works. I've been like, I should start it like a pattern and I should knit it. So I decided I'm going to knit a shawl. And I decided I was going to knit the Dotted Rays by Stephen West, and I can't even show you this pattern because my printer was mad and I didn't want to put fresh ink in it, so I was able to print the pattern, but I couldn't print the pictures. So let me see if I can pull this up quick. But I decided I've had this pattern in my queue for forever. I don't even know how long I've had this in my queue, but like it's been a very long time. Okay, so this is like an ancient photo, but it's like this huge shawl. That's not even a good photo. It's hard to see what it is. It was this huge shawl, and what I'm gonna do is what a lot of people have done. I'm not as fond of this one. I won't do this exact thing, but where they make wedges of different colors. I'm not going to put dividers in between the colors, but I am going to do wedges of color. And essentially, you can knit this shawl huge. You can keep knitting it if you want to like ignore the pattern and just keep going until it's as big as you want. And so I decided I wanted to knit this pattern for, why did I close that? For like years. It's been in my queue for years. And I decided I was going to pull some yarn for it. And I'll show you the one I pulled, which I'm probably not going to do, but I wanted to pull 2 rounds just in case. And they're very like in a color family. So this one I'm not as fond of. To be honest, I'm not going to use this. I already know this. I should put the yarn back. But I had put together a bunch of reds and pinks. And honestly, it could be pretty, but I'd rather use these in something else, and I don't think this is going to be it. So I should just put this back. I've been sitting on this for a while. I'm not going to do it. My heart is set on this one. You guys can probably guess why. So my current plan is to knit it with this. So it's lime greens and turquoises and yellows and all of that goodness, which obviously it's me. So currently I've got Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed Peaceful Paradise. This is from Hobby Lobby. I've got Araucania Yarns, Housego River of Gold. I think I got this one from, oh my goodness, Just Yarn and Saint Germain. I really hope to go back there soon. But I've got this one. I've got 2 Knit Picks yarns. I've got Hawthorne Fingering, Poseidon Kettle Dye, which I've used in a few projects at this point. I've got Hawthorne Fingering Compass Kettle Dye. And then I've got Knitted Wit Single Fingering. So this is the only one that's not like a multiply, but I don't mind mixing yarns. And this is Enchanted Forest. Oh, you know what? This one is from Just Yarn, and the other one is from Black Pearl in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Yeah. So currently these are the colors I'm going with. Now the thing is, I was thinking I'd use about 5 colors. So what I will do, at least at this point, unless I get a skein of yarn that trumps one of these when we get closer to the trip, is I will skein all of these up. I'll cake them all up and I'll bring them along. And if I can either swap out a color if I decide that I want to use something that I recently purchased, or if I don't find anything that I want to use for this, I'll just use these colors. But then this way, I have a project that I started on this trip that I can remember it by. Because it's for a family wedding, but then on top of it, it's our 5-year wedding anniversary this year, already passed. And so we decided to just do a little bit longer of a trip. Nothing fancy. But this way, I can have something to remember it by. So right now, I don't even know why I thought the other color scheme would work, because this is just me right here. This is me. So this will be it. Other than that, I've got a few things to share, and then I think that's it for this episode. I've been super rambly, so let me reset a little bit and I will show you what I've got. Anyway, I have one stash enhancement, and then I've got a few things I wanted to show, and we'll go into live lately. But my one stash enhancement is we went to Hobby Lobby this last weekend to look at something for my dad, and I got a skein of yarn, authentic hand-dyed Seraphine C. I just thought it was really gorgeous because it's got this deep blue, but then it's got like speckles, and the speckles have like pinks and purples and greens. So I thought this was really pretty. No idea what I'm going to use it for. So I'm pretty sure this is 100% wool. Yeah. So I probably need to go in like a shawl or a sweater or something, but it was too pretty to leave behind. Another thing is, because I need more baskets, I found this lovely basket actually at a thrift shop in Janesville, and it was only a couple bucks. So it's a little battered up. It could use some TLC, but I've been loving it for bringing stuff out onto our back deck to knit, because it fits so much stuff. I've got a bunch of stuff in here, but yeah. So that was another thing. Another thing is I've been really excited about, planning this trip, and I've got a sketchbook. This is just a sketchbook, plain pages. They're not super thick, but I got this with the intent that then at least it'll be the same size as my bullet journal and it'll fit in my purse. So I can have a sketchbook along and I can doodle or whatever in this. And then a few other things I wanted to share is I really want to get into reading more. Sorry, again, allergies and then just cat hair everywhere. I really wanted to get into more reading again because I've missed it. And I actually have a coworker who really enjoys the same types of books as I do. So fantasy, high fantasy, all that kind of stuff. And it's really kicked me in the butt to read some more. And it's been good because I've read a lot of stuff that she's never even thought about or heard of. Because I've read a lot of the older fantasy books, and she's got a lot more of the newer fantasy books. But right now we're both reading Throne of Glass. I didn't realize I read the first 2 books years ago. And I thought I had only read the first book. So I reread the first book and started rereading the second. I was like, oh, I've read both of these. But it's like a 7-book series, so I've got a lot to go. But I want to knit and read. And the thing with that is when you don't use an e-reader, you need something to hold your book. So I went on Amazon and I got this guy. It's adjustable. It folds flat, so if I don't want to have it take up space, it literally folds flat. It's also like the kind that can hold cookbooks if you're in the kitchen cooking. It's sturdy enough. And then it's got these little page holders to keep the book open if it's like a type of book where you need to. But we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be really nice. I just want to read more, and I envy all of those who read while they're knitting. I would like to be one of those people. I've done it while reading on my phone, but that's just not the experience I like. So I think this will be nice. So I got this. And then actually, I haven't read this yet, but Austin Kleon, he wrote Steal Like an Artist. It's a little book like this. And what was the other one that he wrote? I don't remember. It was Steal Like an Artist and Show Your Work. Were his two past books, and I have both of them. I actually read Steal Like an Artist in college. It was a recommended book, and I love it. It's for artists. It's for like to get your creativity flowing and to help make you think of exercises that you can do when you're in a rut. And they're all short books like this, and you know, lots of illustrations, all kinds of stuff. So he came out with this book years ago. Keep Going. 2019. So not that long ago, I guess, but yeah, 2019. This is his most recent one in the series, and I had not gotten it yet. So I finally got it. It sounds like 10 ways to stay creative in good times and bad. And I love his books. I am excited to read this thing. So yeah, I got this. I'm excited. I'm going to dig in that hopefully today because they're really quick reads. But the thing with these books is you can start anywhere and read it and get something out of it. You can read it all at once. You can read it over a long period of time. You can go back and reference it. And it's small enough, digestible enough. They're all this size that I love those first two books. They really help. So if you're a creative, I highly recommend. So that's actually the last thing I had to show. We can go into life lately then. I've got all kinds of stuff just sitting here. There's fur flying because I brush Lady in here and she sheds a lot, but she doesn't shed. You have to brush it off of her because otherwise her fur mats, poor girl. So there's fur everywhere. But life lately, actually the one thing, this is kind of stemmed from, I've had the inkling to do like one of those 30-day art challenges. I really want to do it, but I want to do it in a way that doesn't burn me out. So maybe I don't make some kind of art every day. I'm not going to share it online. But I just want to get back into using all my art supplies. And I need to get into not judging myself when I make something that isn't great, because it doesn't matter as long as I am making something. Hence remembering this book that I hadn't gotten yet and wanting to read it. I've actually gathered a bunch of supplies and I've put them in a basket, and we're gonna see if I can like do something with it. So we'll see. That's one thing I've had in my brain. Otherwise, life lately, it's been summer. It's summer here. It's June. So I've got a garden going. This is the second summer that we're in this house. So a lot of things are experimental. There's a back garden area that was completely overrun by weeds, specifically burdock and this really invasive vine. I don't think they had used that space in a couple of years because they really took over. So at the beginning of the season, I physically dug all of the burdock out. I dug it out because that's the only way you can get rid of it. And even then, if you don't get this full taproot, you can't really get rid of it. So I've been fighting that, and these vines are taking over. So it's really hard for me to tell any of the seeds I planted in that back garden, because is it a brand new vine starting or is it my plant? Because it's been a long time since I've planted any seeds myself. So I'm starting to think, I've got potatoes back there that really need to be hilled. Those are happy. But all the squash and beans and cucumbers I planted, I have no idea right now if any of them have taken. But we'll see. It's an experiment. I'm really starting to think that back garden I need to put raised beds in, because essentially then I can treat all of the garden area with vinegar and like really try to kill everything that's in there. weed wise, but at least without using like a pesticide or anything like that. Just go and spray those nasty burdock with vinegar. And then maybe put in some raised beds, because then I can, you know, kind of start fresh, because the raised beds that I've got on the other side of our shed, I put in 2 raised beds. There was one already in. Those are doing really well. Like, the plants in there are looking really well. We're going to have a lot of tomatoes. We're going to have a lot of peppers. I've already harvested some lettuce. The cantaloupe, which we're trying, I don't know if it'll do anything, but it's there. I've got some carrots that sprouted. The cauliflower looks super good. I've got basil. I've got dill. Like, I think those are going to do really well. Oh, and the catnip is very happy. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to redo that back garden and turn it into raised beds. I think it'll just be easier to keep the weeds at bay while still being able to have a garden back there. We'll see. I'm still thinking on it. We'll see how it turns out this year, but it's still early. Other than that, it was really hot for a long time. It wasn't raining. Finally rained last weekend, so we're not fully in drought, but it's not great either. It's full-on allergy season over here, so all of that fun stuff. But otherwise, yeah, we've just kind of been enjoying the outdoors when we can, when it's not too hot. Spoiling the critters. So we've got 2 cats and a dog. Family came over for a little bit. Yeah, we've just kind of been enjoying the summer and working. So yeah, I don't think I have much else. I'm rambling at this point. So I've already shared where you can find me online if you want to join this community. On the other platforms, I haven't been as active on those platforms because I've been doing a lot more outside and all of that stuff. So, you know, a little less social media didn't hurt anybody. And then, let's see, if you liked the video, comment below, give it a like. I mean, give it a dislike if you didn't like it, that's fine. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your friends. We'd love to grow this little community on the interwebs. But with that, I will see you, hopefully sooner rather than later. Summers can be busy, but they can also be chill. So I think ours is going to be a mix of both. And yeah, I will see you in the next episode. Bye.